So much of what we do requires a lot of courage, right? You're putting yourself out there with this 1,500-pound animal that you're going to go into the arena, on your own to execute this horsemanship pattern or the Western riding or the trail or the ranch classes, whatever it is you show. And that requires a lot of courage to put yourself out there like that. And most people would never ever put themselves on the line to be judged like that, but we do. And in order to do that, like you need support. You need to feel like the absolute best version of yourself to go out there and really just lay down the type of performance you need to put in to get the big wins that we're all searching for.
Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach.
All right, today we are bringing the wonderful Whitney Lloyd back on the podcast. Whitney was actually one of our very first guests way back on episode 19, where we talked about her background in the equestrian industry and the ups and downs of showing horses. But today we're going to talk about how your appearance as a rider impacts your confidence, one, as a person, but mostly as a competitive equestrian. So, Whitney, you kind of seem like you've always had a passion for looking and feeling confident. Your social media has always been about wearing clothing and makeup that makes you look good, feel good. And recently you took that a step further and you are just about to launch, when we're recording this, your own line of performance riding jeans for equestrians called Mark West Denim, which is so cool. I'm so excited for you. So, can you tell us a little bit more about why you started this brand?
Sure. I'm just so excited to be here with you guys. I had a great time last time I was on Elevate Your Ride. So I was honored that you would ask me to come back and talk about the jeans. So just really excited to be here today. I think what really inspired me to start Mark West is that I was out of the horse industry for about 13 years. And so, styles change a lot, right, in that amount of time. And so when I came back to the horse world, I was like, "Okay, let me see what all the cool girls at the horse show are wearing," right? And so I started trying on, like, every pair of jeans I saw, like, the cool girls at the show wearing, and I could not find any that I thought were really good, that really fit and functioned and flattered in the saddle. I couldn't find them. I came from that era of, like, the high-waisted, tapered leg 20X Rockies that we all used to rock back in the '90s and early 2000s, and the jeans were just a lot different, and I just couldn't find any that I thought really met the unique needs of cowgirl athletes in the saddle. So I decided that I should make them. So I've been on this, like, 3-year journey to design and prototype and extensively saddle test what I think are the best pair of jeans you've ever ridden in, and I'm really excited that everybody in our horse community is gonna have the chance to ride in them really soon and experience the difference.
I love it so much. Can you talk about some of the specific features about the Mark West jeans that are going to support like rider performance?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know about you guys, but I really hate when I am wearing something that distracts me from my ride, from my horse, from my performance. I mean, if like the sock in my boot is slipping down my ankle, I can't. I just it pulls my focus so bad and I just find it to be so distracting. So one of the most important things for me with Mark West is I want you to put them on and never think about them again because they're that comfortable, they're that functional, they're that flattering in the saddle. So there's a number of features in the jeans that really make them very unique and unlike anything else on the market. So first of all, I really hate how most jeans, you get in a saddle and you sit down in the saddle and you get that weird gappy thing around your waist where they sort of like sit out from your waist and give you that weird gap around your waist. They also typically will bunch up around your hips and the top of your thighs and kind of give you those like rolls at the top of your leg where your hip meets your leg. So we've completely redesigned the way the waist and the hip in our jeans are structured so that they sit up around your waist and your curves in the saddle and actually kind of give you that like snatched in beautiful silhouette that we all really want so that we feel really confident when we go out there to perform with our horses. So that's the first feature that I think is just going to make a huge impact for, our mindset, right? When we go out to ride, go out to train, go out to show, whatever it might be. So that's one feature that I think people are going to be really excited about. The next feature that I think people are gonna be really excited about is we've completely redesigned the way the jeans are constructed in the sense that we've done away with that front seam that typically is in, like, every pair of jeans you own, right? So there's typically that really bulky, heavy seam that joins the jeans together, and, I think we've all been there, like, it can create a lot of rubbing and chafing and saddle sores in places. You do not want saddle sores, especially if you ride as much as most of us cowgirl athletes do. So we've completely redesigned that so that there's no more chafing, there's no more saddle sores, and it's just a much, much more comfortable ride. Another thing that I really hate in most jeans I've ridden in is how they manage to twist around your leg when you're riding, and then when you get off your horse, you have to kind of stand in the middle of the pen and do that awkward, like, let me twist my jeans back around my legs and straighten them out and all of that. So we've opened up the knee of our design just a little bit so they don't twist around your leg and you can just hop off and go. You don't have to like stand there in front of, a whole pen of people trying to straighten out your pants. And they don't ride up over your boots when you're in the saddle. I think, that kind of gives you that like yeehaw look a little bit when like the uppers of your boots are hanging out for the world to see. And then the last thing that I think is just gonna be a huge game changer for people is that our jeans have a hidden cell phone pocket. So it sits right behind your normal back pocket of your jeans, and it's just stretchy enough that, the largest phone, the bulkiest phone case will fit in there, and it holds your phone completely secure when you ride. It won't fall out, it won't end up in the dirt like all of us have experienced. It doesn't interfere with your seat in the saddle, it doesn't bump up against the saddle, and it's honestly kinda magical because you can't even tell that there's a phone in there when you're walking around. So I think that's just gonna be such a game changer for all of us who, like, have to ride with our phone because we have to check, our work emails and stay on top of things, and, like, your trainer's gonna call and tell you, like, what pen they want you to come meet them in and all of that. So I think that's gonna be a huge game changer for everybody once they put their phone in there and take it for a test ride.
Literally every one of these features is an issue that I have with my jeans, no matter how much I love them. But there is something that I can complain about. And everything that you've checked off, I thought, oh, yeah, that is a problem for me. Oh, yeah. And it would be so nice to just focus on my ride and not worry about the way that my clothes are affecting me. So,
Yeah.
how many different trial and errors did it take to figure out where these issues were coming from?
So when I started this process, I knew that those were the issues that I wanted to fix because those were the issues that I kept encountering in every pair of jeans that I wore. I would, buy a pair of jeans and think it fits great. And I'd get to the barn and I'd get in the saddle and I'd have that weird gappy thing. I'd be out riding several times a day, getting ready to do the all around, and I'd be getting saddle sores and, just places that you don't talk about. And, I every time I get off, I have to stand there and untwist my jeans, and then, like, I have to keep my phone with me because I get work emails I have to reply to, and, you're putting it in your back pocket, it's falling out, it's ending up in the dirt, you're telling somebody, "Hey, don't run over my phone, it's over there in the corner." And it's really frustrating. So those were the issues that right from the beginning, I knew that I wanted to fix. So we started from the beginning with those as features we wanted to get into the jeans. But it's taken us 8 prototypes and 2 different fabrics to get them as close to perfect as humanly possible. So it's been quite a process to get to this point. Every single prototype has been extensively tested in the saddle to ensure that, I'm not just telling you these features work, they actually work because they've been put through the ringer, riding multiple horses at home, at shows, and I know that they're really gonna perform for everything that we put them through as cowgirl athletes.
So by addressing the issues in the saddle, do they still feel comfortable and fashionable when we're off our horse and just walking around?
They do, yeah. So, typically, I don't know about you guys, but like after a day at the barn or at the shows or whatever, the minute I get home or back to the camper at a horse show, I just want to like rip my jeans off. I'm just over having them on. But you don't want to do that with these. Everybody who has tried them on or ridden in them always tells me how incredibly soft they are and how incredibly like supportive the denim feels without being constrictive. They also have, like, a very polished look. If you guys have seen them on social media, they have this really beautiful dark blue wash that's very classic that allows you to wear it, in the halter classes or the trail under your chaps or the ranch classes. And, they have this, like, sharp gold, rivets and this really elegant leather patch, and they're just, like, a very classic looking jean. They're not heavily branded. They're something that you can easily wear, out to dinner or at the horse show or wherever you wanna be, which is something I'm really proud of. I really want everyone to feel really, like, pretty and polished and put together when they put them on.
I love how much thought you put into, like, how somebody feels when they're going to wear these jeans.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so much of what we do requires a lot of courage, right? You're putting yourself out there with this 1,500-pound animal that you're going to go into the arena, on your own to execute this horsemanship pattern or the Western riding or the trail or the ranch classes, whatever it is you show. And that requires a lot of courage to put yourself out there like that. And most people would never ever put themselves on the line to be judged like that, but we do. And in order to do that, like you need support. You need to feel like the absolute best version of yourself to go out there and really just lay down the type of performance you need to put in to get the big wins that we're all searching for. And so I think it's really hard to do that if your clothes don't fit right, if they're distracting you, if you don't feel confident in what you're wearing. So I wanted to create these jeans to solve all these problems that we have so that when you wear them and you go ride your horse, you're not thinking about your jeans. You're not thinking about how you look. You know you look great. You know the jeans fit you and flatter you, and you can go focus on your horse and your ride because that's the most important thing for all of us.
I love how passionate you are about this. You can really tell by listening to you how much you care about this project and how much you care about the people that it's going to make their lives inherently better, right? Like what you wear matters so much to how you feel to when you go to ride. So I know that like my biggest complaints from like the traditional riding jeans, like I feel like the probably the two most popular are like the Kimes and the Hollas, right? At least that's what I've mainly ridden in. I used to ride in Wranglers in high school, and while they're a little bit cheaper, I made the switch to Kimes, and I kinda never looked back from Wrangler. But my biggest problem with the Kime, so I always rode in the Sarahs, which is like the higher waisted
Yep.
jean, but I always felt like I was kind of like in between sizes. So like a 4 felt like way too big. Like I could stick like my hands literally down my pants because they were so big in the waist, but
Yep.
then they
And you
like
got that
fit.
weird gap when you got in the saddle.
Yeah, and then it was,
Mhm.
like, uncomfortable because then it's, like, pinching you weird, and it's just I always hated it. So then I started wearing a size down, so I started wearing, like, the 2, but they were so tight through my thighs and through my
Yep.
butt, and especially because I lift weights, like, I have a lit have a little bit more muscle there than maybe some other people would, and so I have this problem of every time I buy a new pair of Kimes, they rip out in the crotch within
Yep.
6 months, and it
Yep.
drives me nuts because 'cause I'm like, "I'm paying $160 for jeans that don't even last 6 months." And then so I got tired of that and eventually I moved over to Hollas. And honestly, I've preferred my Kimes over my Hollas, which I know is probably a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I know that so many people love Hollas, but I just have never liked the way that they felt on me. I've tried, I think, 3 or 4 different sizes of Hollas. Like I've had because I think when you buy them, they say that you're supposed to size down. So I've sized down, I've got my normal size, I've sized up, and I just have never felt like they've fit me the way that I wanted them to. I never felt like they were, like, high enough waisted. Because again, lifting weights, I feel like I'm naturally just I carry more of my weight, like, in my hips, and I always felt like I had a muffin top with the Hollas, and I'm like, "This is stupid," and they were still ripping out, and I every 6 months, I was still replacing them. So I was like, screw it. I'm done with Hollas. I'm done with Kimes. This is stupid. So literally right before when all this was going on, you had like just about launched Mark West or like started like sharing about it on social media. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. But I need something in the meantime until these are launched. So I started doing some research on literally just jeans for people who lift weights because that I think was the problem I was running into is that I just was bigger in my thighs and bigger around the waist than traditional like horse riding jeans were. So I found this brand that I do really like. It's called Fran Denim and they're a little bit less expensive. I think I paid $90 for my pairs and I bought 3 of them. Like I really like them. Like they solved most of the problems that my Kimes and my Hollas didn't like wasn't working for me. My only complaint so I just wore them for, like, 2 weeks straight at the Level 1 show in Vegas, so I'm like, "Alright, like, this will really be the test." And they held up pretty well. Granted, I wasn't showing, I wasn't riding, I was just wearing them all day at the horse show, like, vendoring, watching my clients show, all that sort of stuff. And my only complaint with my Frans is that, like, they fit great, but the top of the actual waistband would, like, kinda bunch up, and then when I would take my jeans off at the end of the day, I would have, like, lines from, like, the waistband, if that makes sense. So that's my only complaint about those, but I'm really, really excited for when I can get my hands on a pair of Mark Wests because I feel like this really does solve a problem that somehow nobody else has been able to solve over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited for you to get a pair and ride in them and experience the difference. But yeah, it's so interesting to me that you say that you've had problems with how the jeans have fit through the leg and other brands.
Yeah.
I think as horse girls, right? Like no matter what size you might be, you're gonna have strong legs and quads and calves and glutes, right? Like that's one of the main tools we use
Yeah.
to communicate with our horses. And that's something that my designer and I really focused on is that like, horse girls have really muscular legs and we have to make sure that like the leg fit is right. We have to make sure that you have freedom of movement through your leg to use it effectively when you're riding. So I think that problem that you've encountered, I think a lot of us have encountered, and I think that's something that we've really solved. And you're going to find the leg is super comfortable and helps you use your leg effectively and doesn't feel like it's just like squeezing your thighs when you're walking around in them all day. So I'm excited for you to test that and let me know what you think.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
Yeah, I am also very, very excited because so like the right gene really does impact like your performance in the saddle because
Absolutely.
like you were talking about the leg twisting earlier. I feel like that or like the like when your jean like rides up like around your knees. And I feel like maybe that doesn't happen at least for me as much with like everyday riding, but it happens to me if I'm riding like a younger, greener horse. Like when I was starting my last 2-year-old, every like the way that you use your legs, like when you're going faster or riding something young, I always had that problem. And there's nothing worse than like feeling like you have to like reach down and like pull. Like you shouldn't be fighting your equipment, and what you wear is a part of your equipment. So,
Absolutely.
I am really excited that you've created a gene that hopefully is gonna fix some of these problems because there's also nothing worse than, like, when you're riding around with your phone, which honestly, especially if you're riding by yourself, that's a safety thing
Absolutely.
need like, you need your phone on you, especially if you're riding around by yourself or, if you have an important call coming, you just need to have your phone on you. And
Oh,
so there's nothing worse than you're like in the middle of like a really good ride and then your phone falls out and you're like, "Oh my god, like I have to get off and I have to go and get it because somebody could step on it and then I have to go fix my phone." So I'm really excited for the phone feature. And from the looks of it, these jeans are pretty high-waisted, right, Whitney?
yeah, they are. I always joke that I would wear my pants up around my neck if I could.
Me too.
Yeah, me
Like
three.
like, I just want that all to be, like, contained, you know? I don't
Yeah.
I'm not down with a mid-rise or a low-rise, and,
No.
No.
if you are,
No.
power to you, and maybe someday in the future, like, never say never, maybe there will be, like, a low-rise Mark West, but for now, these babies are high-rise, like, the
Love
higher the
Yeah.
that.
better in my world, which I think just really helps to give you that, like, confident, like, snatched in feeling, you're not
Mhm.
getting muffin top,
'Cause it's just
you're
uncomfortable to feel
it
like you're spilling over the top of your jeans.
it is,
And
and
it's not a fun feeling.
no, it's a terrible feeling, and it just really sort of eats at you mentally, it chips away at your confidence, and I just think, we all deserve better. We're just, such incredible athletes in this industry, and we deserve performance wear that's gonna support us on our journeys towards our goals with our horses, and that's really what I'm hoping to provide the community with these jeans.
Yeah. So from like a personal trainer's perspective, like having a jean that really or just clothing in general, not even necessarily jeans, but if you feel like when you go to ride, like your clothing is inhibiting you in some way and not allowing you, like if your jeans are too tight to the point where you can't follow the range of motion with your hips or you can't properly kick your horse or you have such a big gap that it's like pinching you. Maybe your boots are too tight and they're like pinching your feet funny, or maybe you have a bra that's pushing your shoulders forward. And so you feel like you can't bring your shoulders back. Like it doesn't really matter what it is, but like your clothing should really be formed to function when you go to ride, but also especially when you go to show. So that's a topic that I really, really would like to get into is like
Yeah.
when you go to ride and especially when you're walking into the show pen, you should feel like your clothing fits you. You should feel like your clothing allows you to do what you need to be able to do athletically. And if you feel like your clothing in any way restricts you from being able to move with a full range of motion with your full capacity, then I'm sorry, but that clothing item needs to be changed. I don't care if you spent $3 or $4,000 on your shirt. I would rather see somebody show it a $50 shirt because they feel like they can move properly in it. Like that's something that has always kind of blown my mind is, you see these people at the horse shows and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can barely even move in my outfit." And it's like,
Right.
"What? What do you mean you can't what do you mean you can't move in your outfit? How are you supposed to be able to go and show and actually do well and not just sit up on top of your horse and let your horse do all the work?" Like when you watch somebody do like Lauren, who's fantastic in the horsemanship, it probably looks on the outside like Lauren isn't really moving or doing much. But Lauren, is that
Lauren's
true?
doing everything. She's my
Oh my
Yeah.
horsemanship hero.
Thanks, you're so nice. But yeah, no, there is so much and especially for me, like, my seat is my biggest connection. That's one thing that I
Yes.
always am trying to maybe do, quote, unquote, "less of," because I feel like I am so connected there. That's my biggest line of communication to my horse. So that's why I was really excited to hear that you redesigned the inner seam because man, sometimes I am in the middle of one and I'm like, things are uncomfortable, but I cannot. I have to ride through the pain and
Oh, yeah.
try to take that out of my mind because what I'm trying to communicate needs to be said, even though I'm uncomfortable. And then by the end of the ride, you're like, oh man, I need to go walk this off for a second. But
Yep, I've been there.
yeah, so I'm really excited to try out that part of it because, man, to be able to maintain the flow of your ride and your training session with your horse without letting your equipment become a forethought, like I would die to be able to try that and then see what that feels like because it happens probably at least once a day where I'm like, this is not sitting where it's supposed to be sitting.
Yeah, I totally relate to that, and I agree, Ellie, like, I feel like most people have that to say about their show clothes, right? They can't move their arm, they can't sit down, they can't breathe,
Yeah.
and
Good.
I also don't know how they're even able to function, like, they must have much better focus than I do, because, like, literally everything that I'm ever going to show in is, like, extensively tested ahead of time because I can't imagine, like, putting something on to go show and realizing that I can't, move my
Can't move.
arm or my pants are too tight or something doesn't fit. Like, I'm sorry, I just, like, you might as well just scratch me from the class at that point because I can't.
It always cracks
So,
me up when you see, like, it's usually, like, I feel like the top, like, level 2, level 3 riders, like, especially when they're getting ready for, like, the horsemanship, and they're warming up with their shirts unzipped and that sort of stuff or, like, barely even on, and I'm like, if you can't fully ride your horse the way that you need to and you have to have your clothing unzipped, then maybe the clothing is inhibiting you in some way? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So have you thought about creating, like, a line of, like, like, under shops, like, show pants or, like, showmanship pants, that sort of stuff? Have you gotten
Y
there yet?
I have so many different thoughts about how I would like to grow and expand Mark West as we go here, but I've definitely had a lot of requests for, like, black jeans that people
Yeah.
can wear
Yeah.
under chaps and, like, the showman or excuse me, not the showmanship, obviously, we don't wear chaps in that. The horsemanship, I meant to say. So I've had a lot of requests for people who'd like black jeans to wear under their chaps in, like, the horsemanship, the pleasure, that sort of thing, and so that's something that I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, if everybody goes out and buys some, hopefully we'll be able to do, relatively soon because I'd love to be able to offer that as a starters, and then, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to continue to expand the brand and offer, more apparel that really fits and flatters and functions in the saddle because that's kinda what the brand is all about.
Would it be difficult to add the black color? Do you have to do a completely different gene for that, or how does that work?
Well, we would have to you'd have to create a new pattern because you have to have, like, a new pattern to match the fabric that you're using. So it would be a comparable denim, but it would be a different one that they can make in the black. So we'd have to do a new pattern and we'd have to prototype it to make sure that it still functions as the current design does in the saddle. One of the big challenges I think we've all experienced, like, what I refer to as saggy butt, like your jeans
Yeah.
fit great, you, like, ride one horse, and then they just, like, sag out and look terrible for the rest of the day. So that's something that, like, I really was really important to me to correct because, like, that's another, like, you just feel, like, sloppy and gross when your jeans are doing that. So, yeah, so this fabric that we landed on is actually our second fabric, and the post-ride recovery is just incredible. It doesn't get so saggy, it doesn't grow too much, it doesn't give you that saggy butt, so I would really wanna be sure that if we made a black jean that we had that same sort of recovery, so we'd have to kinda go through another phase of prototyping and development to get there.
And did your denim, the designer, was she able to help you, like, guide you on what fabrics would fit your needs? Or how did you even find this one with the good recovery and everything?
Yeah, so we looked at a lot of different denim samples to try to determine what kind of denim to use, and it was really important to me that the jeans have a very, like, traditional Western jean feel and look to them, so I didn't want, like, a super stretchy jean, like, something that kinda gives you, like, a jegging vibe. That was not what I wanted. So initially, we went with one fabric that really didn't have much stretch to it at all, and we made oh, man, we probably made 6 prototypes in that fabric before it was just like, this does not recover after you ride and sweat in it well enough. So then we switched to the denim that we currently are using that is just the perfect amount of stretch where it still has that traditional feel. It still has the traditional look, but it's just like really comfortable and really like supports you in a sport, really, which is what we're doing, right? We're doing like a sport in jeans, which is a strange concept, but true.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. I wanted to take a moment to thank our very first gold sponsor, Hobby Horse Clothing Company. If you're looking for a cost effective way to elevate your look at the horse show, check out what Hobby Horse has to offer. From budget friendly crystal jackets to simple show shirts to stylish lifestyle tops, Hobby Horse has everything you need to look your best. Look good, feel good, show good. Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pin anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and am here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Which is so true. You just explained that so well that we're doing a sport in jeans, and those jeans need to be comfortable. They need to be able to do anything that you ask them to do. And I would imagine, even though I feel like, want the stretchy jeans, I feel like we don't want the features that come with stretchy jeans. Like they don't last. I feel like the less stretchy the jean, like the more hardy they are. Like, is that
Yeah,
something that
so
you took into consideration when you were like picking out a fabric?
yeah, absolutely. Like I wanted the jean to have like the structure and to make you feel really supported in them, but also be comfortable to wear, all day, like how long our days are at the shows. So it was really important to strike that right balance with the fabric, and I really think we got there. I'm just really excited for everybody to ride in them and just kind of test that post ride recovery and see it for themselves.
Yeah, I love it. So let's take a little bit of a shift. So we talked a little bit about how your genes need to work really well for you physically, but Lauren, can you talk a little bit more about how like your perception of your appearance impacts you when you're just around the barn, in the show pen, like that sort of stuff, and why your clothing should make you feel good, make you feel confident?
Absolutely. And when we're talking about feeling good and looking good, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the most quote unquote high fashion person in the barn. When we want to look good and feel good, it means that our clothes fit us in a way that makes us feel confident about our body. It means that we are able to function, like Ellie mentioned earlier, with a full range of motion, be able to bend down, pick our horse's feet up. We don't have to worry about our pants maybe sliding down and showing our underwear or our knees
No
being
whale tails.
exactly, or our knees feeling constricted when we're trying to, lift our legs and put them in the stirrup. Because as you've been saying, Whitney, we are athletes. And even though this is a little bit of a beauty contest, right? Like, first and foremost, we are athletes. And so by being able to be functional, feel strong, and feel competent, we can step into that saddle and feel like we can do anything. And I think a lot of that starts with how we prepare ourselves physically and in a way that makes us feel like, okay, I'm okay with me. So now let me go out and be the best that I can be for my horse. And so it's yeah, and it starts there. And then you can build with help from your trainer, with help from your friends and support and, go out there and showcase your horse, but definitely presenting yourself in the best light is a great way to start. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like just recently I got a new pair of English boots And if anybody's broken in English boots, it is not yeah, it is not fun. And I appreciate you saying that I look so confident out there, but I guarantee you that first run with those English boots, I just kept thinking I can't get my heels down because my ankles hurt too much to bend in these boots. And so it does make a big difference on your confidence. I mean, I tried to fake it as best I could, but there's a lot of pain going on.
Did you try the trick where you, like, hose the boots down?
Oh, definitely. Afterwards, I took my horse straight to the wash rack. I didn't do it before. I should have done it because I came out and I was like, "Miles, why did my feet hurt?" He goes, "Did you wash your horse yet?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Take your horse and your boots to the wash rack." So so we went to the wash rack. He got a bath, my boots got a bath, and it did help.
Yeah, that's the best trick I know to break in English boots, but that's no joke, and yeah, there's nothing worse, like, I have so much hair, and when I get it all in, like, the English helmet for Ack or the undersaddle or whatever, it just, like, the minute I come out, I'm just like, "There is so much pressure on my head right now." So, it's just I get it, it's no joke, all the equipment and stuff that we have to wear is not necessarily the most comfortable thing, but I'm hoping that Mark West can kinda be the start of changing that and making things that are actually comfortable and functional for all of us equestrians.
Yeah, it really sounds
That
like it's gonna
amazing.
be the
Yes.
solution that we need. So thank you so much for putting the time and effort into it. And it really helps that you are a cowgirl athlete building these genes for fellow cowgirl athletes.
Yeah, I think so, right? I mean, I just don't see that other brands are really doing the sort of saddle testing that we're doing. It's one thing to design a pair of jeans and you put them on and you think, "Oh yeah, these fit good. I look good in these. Cool." But it's a whole nother thing to then put them in the saddle and ride multiple horses and see how they're gonna perform. So that saddle testing has been really, really important to me. It's something I've taken very seriously, and we have, revised and revised and revised through 8 different prototypes to get us to something that really works, and here we are. It's almost time.
So close, so
So
close.
what are you gonna do to celebrate when the first round launches?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. It's funny. I don't even know that I've thought that far ahead. I'm just like so nervous. Like, will anybody place an order for these jeans? That's not my mom. So yes, I've been super nervous about all of it. But over the course of the spring, as I've had different girls try them on, different girls riding them, and I've just seen how they have worked for every girl that's tried them on. It's been really encouraging that, like, I didn't just design a pair of pants for myself. They actually do work for, a variety of body types, a variety of sizes, a variety of ages, right? I've had everybody, from youth girls to selects try them on and they all look incredible. So that's been really, really gratifying and makes me feel much more excited about the launch and the future of all of this.
I love that so much. I love how excited you are for it.
Yeah, I am, I am. It's gonna be great. I think once everybody gets them home and gets them out to the barn, it's gonna be like, "Oh, this is what she's been talking about. I get it now."
Can you think of a story when you wore something or something about your appearance just did not make you feel good, did not make you feel confident, and so you went and changed it, and then the next time that you went to show, it was just so much better? Like, do you have a story for that?
Oh my gosh, that's pretty much my entire life in in horses. I feel like like, didn't really have, like, a great outfit that I felt confident in until, like, a couple of years ago. I mean, you're pretty much describing my entire, like, show career, to be honest with you. Like, I have there's a lot of really tragic photos of me throughout my youth career and just, like, really hideous outfits that, like, did not fit me. I think my mom, like, always thought I was gonna grow into things or something, so there's a lot of photos of me as a kid where, like, everything I'm wearing is just way too big, and I'm sure it would still be too big to this day, actually. So yeah, I think, most of my life, I didn't have, like, the custom show clothes that were, like, designed to fit me, and, I think that does sort of chip away at your confidence or the idea of looking the part. A lot of this is, do you look the part when you come through the gate? Do you look like you know what's up, that you deserve to be there? And that looking the part can really impact your confidence level and how you show up when you go out to train or you go out to show, whatever it might be. So I can certainly relate to that, and I can certainly say that, like, having the right show outfit that fits you really well, that complements you, complements your horse, is on trend with the current look and all of that goes a long way to really boosting your confidence. So, yeah, I can completely relate to just that feeling of like, this is not quite the right thing. It's not really working for me right now. So yeah, and that's one of the things that, I wanted to solve with Mark West. If you wear Mark West, you're gonna know that your jeans are perfect and you look great, and I think that goes a long way toward making you, show up as a more confident rider.
Love it. I'm
That was
so
great.
excited for yeah, that was a great answer. I'm so excited for your future and just stick with it. Speaking from somebody who has now built 2 businesses in the equestrian industry, it's not easy. People are not going to buy your service or your product nearly as much as they say they're going to.
Oh, yeah.
But if you stick with it, it is so worth it in the end. And it is really a rewarding experience to have people like come up to you at like a horse show and be like, you have made a really big impact like on me personally and me showing and that sort of stuff. So stick with it. It will not, I'm sure it hasn't been easy already and it will continue to not be easy. There'll always be roadblocks, but it's so worth it when the first person comes up to you and says how much of a difference it made for them.
Yeah, I will really look forward to that day. There has been, I've pretty much wanted to quit every day that I have worked on this company for the last 3 years. But, like, there's no bigger motivator for me than the opportunity to go chase dreams with my horse, and that has kept me going through all of the roadblocks we've encountered so far, and I'm just really excited to see where this will take me.
Yeah, so the last time we had you on, I want to hear an update about how it's going with your new horse. Like, even a new horse since the last time we saw you, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
had a lot of horses in the last few years, unfortunately. I'd like to get one that I can keep for a few years and kinda make some
Oh,
progress with, so hopefully we're getting there with this one.
that's awesome. Well, I'm really excited for you, and hopefully you'll achieve all your dreams with Mark West and in the show pen. If you just keep at it, you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing
Manifesting
great
that for
things.
for 2025.
Yes, yes. Somehow we're already like almost halfway through 2025. I'm not sure how that happened, but
It is crazy, it's flying by.
Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.